but I am seeing this. New intelligence suggests Israel is preparing possible strike on Iranian nuclear facilities. This is from May 20th, 2025. It did come out about an hour ago, U.S. officials say. I don't know. I don't know. Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it. I mean, just to not to be light about it, but it seems like Ben Shapiro and Netanyahu weren't the happiest about Trump gallivanting across the Middle East and handling business and being crowned the president of the world by Saudi Arabia. You know, I don't think they like that at all. The U.S. obtained news suggesting that Israel's making preparations to strike nuclear facilities, even as the Trump administration has been pursuing a diplomatic deal with Tehran. Multiple U.S. sources familiar with latest intelligence told CNN such a strike would be a brazen break with President Donald Trump. U.S. officials say it could also risk tipping off a broader regional conflict in the Middle East, something the U.S. has sought to avoid since the war in Gaza inflamed tensions at the beginning of 2023. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Officials caution it is not clear that Israel's leaders have made a final decision and that, in fact, there is a deep disagreement within the U.S. government about the likelihood that Israel will ultimately act. Whether and how Israel strikes will likely depend on what it thinks of the U.S. negotiations with Tehran over its nuclear program. So if they decide that the nuclear program can exist, Israel will just fire on them. And if Trump says, hey, you can't have a facility, and the deal going forward is that you have to get rid of your facility, you will never have a nuke, then Israel will be okay with that, I'm guessing. And let's be honest, Israel will not be okay with that over either circumstance, because it seems like right now they are interested in attacking more than figuring out peace. And now, before everybody gets crazy, I'm not talking about every Israeli person in the world. I'm talking about the government. Their government does not seem like they're interested in peace. They are very upset that Trump was making his trip, and his trip to the Middle East and everywhere he went was centered around peace. And can't speak for Netanyahu. People make claims that Netanyahu was really upset, that he said we'll stand alone, and it was all because of this whole thing. Ben Shapiro seemed upset about that. From what I understand, they kind of work hand in hand, those two. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, I could see this happening. I mean, they really don't want Iran to have nukes. But Trump has also made clear that he does not want Iran to have nukes. He hasn't changed that position just because he traveled through the Middle East to just make some deals and secure some investment. He hasn't changed from that stance. So they really have no reason to do this. Their reasoning would have to be something else completely that I don't know about. Because Trump has made it clear. I feel like it was just like 2 weeks ago. Trump was like, they can never have a nuke. That can't happen. It won't happen. He was very, very clear about that. So it seems like Israel and Trump are directly on the same page with this whole thing. So I don't get it. No strikes just yet, happening soon. It will not be good for Israel if they do that against. Oh yeah, of course, buddy. You do that against what Trump's doing, especially not just the fact that you potentially do it. If you do that while Trump's trying to make a deal, oh man, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. I'm just saying, it's gonna be a problem. And Trump has shown over the past few weeks, months even, he's shown he does not have to attack a country for them to feel pressure, to them to feel squeezed. He doesn't have to attack. It's not something he has to do. So we all know America's never going to attack Israel. That's not going to happen. But Trump could do some things, especially if he's mad about a deal getting ruined. Wrong thing to do. Wrong thing to do. I doubt they'll do it, though. I know people have this weird idea that Israel just runs everything, but from what I've seen, especially what Trump's done through that Middle East gallivant that he just took, it's just not true. I hope those people put that whole thing to bed, but I'm sure people out there won't. They're still going to have that thought process. Iran is within weeks of a bomb material. Israel is tired of waiting and get more and more scared. Yeah, I didn't know that. If they're weeks within, that kind of would make sense why Trump is making this hard push, because right now, everybody who is friendly with Iran has now taken in Trump as a friend, as an ally. And that probably pisses them off. And it probably pisses Israel off too. They probably have that thing in common where what Trump is doing is annoying both sides of that whole thing. But yeah, I guess you have to stop that. And maybe that's why Trump actually moved to make peace so aggressively throughout the Middle East, because he realizes that they're close to bomb material. And if he can get them to stop, then he has them exactly where he's wanted them and exactly where he had them his entire first term. Hard to say. Really hard to say. Again, I'm not finding any videos on it. I think there's one video I saw here. Let's see. But I'm pretty sure this is an old video. Why aren't you letting me click on you? Okay. Let's see. First off, when a video has that music, I hate it. Second of all, it's 6 months old. Okay. So there's no real videos on it. Even Reuters posted a little bit about it. They were talking about it as well. So as far as I can see, it just suggests, it's just preparing, that's basically it. But it seems like Iran is always preparing for a nuke, and Israel is always preparing to take out Iran if they have a nuke. It seems like that's always the page that they're on. They're like Tom and Jerry. Tehom, and Jerry. Tehom and Jerry. Fun show to watch. Oh man. All right, let's move on from here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but we'll see, man. I mean, actually, you know what? Let's just pull up. Does Tucker talk about this at all in this interview that he has going on? Let's see. Does he talk about Iran at all in these thumbnails? I love to hear Sean Ryan's take on things like that. I know what Tucker's take's going to be on it, but I would love to see Sean's work in Yemen, counter in Colombia, drugs and adrenaline. Ooh. Yeah, no, they don't actually talk about it. Let's just do a quick search here. Just a quick search in Google. Not Google, but with Trump, Iran. Let's see. Trump, Iran. There's nothing popping up. 1 day ago, Iran threatens Trump administration enrichment will continue with or without a deal. Huh. So this right here is probably what pissed Israel off.
President Trump will hold a high-stakes phone call with both Russian President Vladimir Putin and a separate phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky later today. And Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is optimistic about these talks.
I believe that the president is going to have a successful call with Vladimir Putin. They know each other. The president is determined to get something done here, and hopefully.
Through Steve Witkoff over the weekend said that made it clear that the Trump administration's position on Iran enrichment is 0%. And then Iran's foreign minister posted on X, if the U.S. is interested in ensuring that Iran will not have a nuclear weapon, a deal is within reach, and we are ready for a serious conversation to achieve a solution that will forever ensure that outcome. Enrichment in Iran, however, will continue with or without a deal. So where do things go from there with the foreign minister saying that?
Yeah, obviously, Steve Witkoff said that was the red line, was the continuing enrichment. I think that may be a little bit of political posturing and trying to appeal to maybe the domestic Iranian audience to keep them happy as to where this is going. But, it's very clear what the position of the United States is. And again, this is another area where Donald Trump uniquely is bringing peace. He doesn't want to fight with Iran, but at the same time, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And so, the position of the United States is very clear, and I think the Iranians understand that, and they don't want a war with the United States either. And so I think we will, again, President Trump will bring peace to this situation.
Yeah, the president said that he's extended an olive branch, but it will not last forever. And the Ayatollah certainly did not like the president's trip to the Middle East. He made that very clear in his Truth Social post. So if the Ayatollah is comfortable, that means that President Trump's trip to the region was successful. Ambassador Whitaker, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's certainly going to be another very busy week. We appreciate it.
So, very, very interesting there. So that part, that enrichment will happen no matter what. That's probably like, Israel's probably like, okay, you're going to make a deal, and then they're going to stop working towards a bomb. And then all of a sudden that guy releases that statement saying, nah, whether you like it or not. And honestly, they can't have one. They can't have one. I don't know. I don't think many nations should have one. You know what I think of? It seems like Green Berets and Delta and, they can do regime change. They can infiltrate a country and do some regime change. Why don't they ever do that with Iran? Anybody ever think of that? Why don't they just replace it with one of these, like a regular Iranian guy who wears like European shoes that like curl up at the tips, and he's manicured, he does his eyebrows, he smells like cologne, drives a BMW. Why don't they have one of those guys running it? Just install the guy. What are you guys waiting for? Switch it back. All the people who are in Iran right now acting like they love the government, they're gonna be overwhelmed with joy if you just take them out. What are we talking about here? This should be a quick one too. Pete Hegseth, get it done. This should be a real quick one. That's it. Iran used to be close. Iran was popping back in the day. Back when the women looked like her. They did. I'm not even making it up. The ladies back in the day, Iranian ladies, they would look like her. They would dye their hair blonde. Not all of them, but they'd have nice hair. They would have pretty makeup. They were great. I'm telling you, you can get back to that. I don't know why they aren't, but that is probably, in my guess, why Israel is upset with this whole thing. Moving on.